Catch ER22 Pirates GM wants rule change to take pressure off catchers potentially concussed. In an era where concussion concerns are taken more seriously than ever before, one general manager feels Major League Baseball is again falling behind. Pittsburgh Pirates GM Neil Huntington in the wake of catcher Francisco Cervelli's seventh trip to the concussion Illinois since 2015. Huntington sees the current rule, particularly in regard to catchers, as a catch-22 stay in the game and potentially worsen a brain injury or leave out of precaution only to find out there's no issue and put the team's chances in jeopardy. It used to be, you'd get your bell rung and you'd stay in, Huntington said. We shouldn't do that. Huntington's issue is based around the substitution rule and its impact on players. Players can't return. Huntington told media he wants an obvious concussion assessment process to happen. The initial decision is easier on position players, who have multiple players available to take their spot. For catchers, Cervelli was hit by a broken bat in the fourth inning and stayed in the game after an athletic trainer checked on him. In the bottom of the inning, as with any potential rule change in MLB, Huntington knows it will rile up some of the game's traditionalists, and that's likely to be the biggest hurdle. We're going to abuse it, you, not necessarily we the Pirates, but as an industry, teams will abuse it. And it changes even if it doesn't happen often, Huntington said. That's all the more reason to put a substitution stipulation in place. In reported concussions after the 7-day DL. Now Illinois was implemented to better maintain them. Catchers were the most every spring rule change though. This would be less of the crux of the concussion conversation focuses on the NFL. The league implemented, if a player is cleared, he may return to the game. Baseball is all leagues struggle with how to handle an injury that doesn't present itself in the same way a broken leg would. Soccer is under more from Yahoo Sports. Related slideshow 2019 MLB season provided by Iman.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. I get fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park,